Welcome back to Down the Track. Finally, the Sunrisers Hyderabad pick up the 2 points and beat the Rajasthan Royals by 7 wickets. It was a convincing win. Change in personnel really helped them. I honestly didn't think that Sunrisers would win this game, to be very, very honest with you. They've been in poor form, but it just shows, if you're in poor form, just change your personnel and brings fresh blood. It can change things, and that shows the importance of having a good squad. I have with me my co-host Abraziz. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, look, it's always nice to get the 2 points. We've come to be very used to getting these 2 points more often than not in the past 3-4 years. So this season has obviously been a pretty big disappointment. With that being said, I think this was a very clinical performance. Like you said, getting a couple of players, the likes of Jason Roy, the likes of Abhishek Sharma, really chipping in with the bat, which was very very important because their predecessors weren't able to. And when this team clicks, it looks like a solid team. There are definitely issues in this team. There are places that there is scope for improvement, but this looks like a solid team. But I felt the important thing, I felt that there was an intent today. Even in the field, you see there were a couple of the Sandeep Sharma drop, and then there was a Jason Holder. He was trying to go back a little too slowly and stuff. Like there were a couple of things, but on the outset, we saw intent. We saw a couple of good fielding improvements. We saw the intent in the field. We saw players trying to go for it, even when the runs were coming through. Sanju Samson had a great innings. You can't do much when someone's when someone is that kind of form. But they were still at it. They never let it go. They kept it at a competitive total. Came in with the bat. They started off well. Then it was a very completely well flowing performance, I thought.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it just goes to show that how important the way Sunrisers play is the opening batsman, right? Before it was Johnny Bairstow, and now it's, David Warner. Was up to him. He didn't perform. He's been doing amazing for 4 years, so I don't have a personal issue with him.
Yeah.
It's just that he's in bad form. I completely take that because he's taken them to so many playoffs and a championship as well. But, when you have an opener, and from the way Sunrisers play, they are top heavy, but you can win games like that. I know that you can talk about the middle order is weak and everything like that, but if you have a top order like that, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, he finished the game. Of course, Sunrisers have problems. If Williamson got out, it would have been a different story, and I would be criticizing the middle order. But when you have a impact like that, the bowling team deflates automatically.
Exactly.
Especially when you have Jason Roy going like that, and it's so scary to play England because these guys don't care what conditions it is. It doesn't matter. I thought, man, spin friendly conditions, Jason Roy is not going to work. Whatever, like. It's going to be okay. Like he might get a quick 20 or 30, but these England players and West Indian players, they play with a proper intent. They play high risk cricket, but this is how they win games.
Absolutely. I think Jason Roy was phenomenal. I think he didn't give too. The way he got out was a little silly, I would like to say, because he has the capability to just spank the ball outside the park. He didn't have to try to be cute. But you are absolutely right. This English side, the West Indies side, these guys are fearless cricketers. They
Take
play
a
high
gamble,
risk.
yeah.
Yeah, high risk, high reward, and more often than not, it pays off for them, which is pretty awesome to see.
Yeah.
Jason Roy, coming back to him, I think he was phenomenal, and then well guided through with my most favorite player, who's not an Indian cricketer, Kane Williamson. I think he has been an absolute gem of a player that Sunrisers have gotten. I don't think he gets the due credit because he's not swashbuckling like a David Warner, or he's not maybe available like Rashid Khan. These guys are the legends of Sunrisers cricket right now. But Kane, I think, very coolly but quietly goes about doing his business, and he's an absolute a gem of a cricketer as well. And it was very nice, like I said, even to see Abhishek Sharma, the way he came in. Prem Garg got out first ball. There was a little bit of pressure. There's a lot of talk about the middle order. There was a little bit of pressure there. Prem Garg, like I said, got out first ball. So coming in, stabilizing it. A word or two with Chris Morris, who's a pretty big bloke over there. So he showed intent as well, which was nice to see. And I think he's playing for a place back in this side in the next auction. So that's what it is for Sunrisers now. It's more of the more the players perform in the next 4 or 5 games, the more likely they will be to be retained or at least bought back in the auction. So that's what it's looking for, and some good players to look out for now.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. Yuvraj Singh, he coaches two people, and one of them is Abhishek
Abhishek
Sharma.
Sharma.
He has a lot of commitments, but he said if I see talent, I will coach other like a few players that I think that can do really well, and Abhishek Sharma is one of them. So it just goes to show
Shubman
that
Gill and
Shuman
Abhishek
Gill is the
Sharma,
second one.
both. I
Yeah,
believe
okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a full-time coach, but he said that like I like to contribute back to the community, and but I only pick because I don't have much time. I only pick like the talent that I feel that I can really work with and really improve. And if Abhishek Sharma is one that just goes to show that this man has a lot of talent, and it's about backing him. And credit to Sunrisers. They've backed him. Like of course, it's a bit late now and for the season, but better late than never, right? And you can.
Absolutely.
He's like he said with the auction coming up, he's doing himself no harm in playing like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
A key cricketer. And I just wanted to say, like, with Jason Roy's intent, that's the difference. I think if you saw Rohit Sharma was chasing the same score yesterday, he got boundaries, but he played a lot of dot balls, whereas Jason Roy was much more attacking. And the impact of his 50 was much more just because of the pace was he's playing with. And that's what India have to look at. They have three players in Rahul, Rohit, and Kohli who like to take their time. But in a format like T20, when you're all three playing together, one or two have to take the initiative and just go for it.
Absolutely, I think that's definitely something that we will be talking about when we do our review about the World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just phenomenal batting. It's just nice to see that. It's just nice. We've come to be used to seeing the top 3 or 4 in Sunrisers jersey to kind of really go at it. We've seen Bairstow, we've seen Warner in the past, Kane, and now Johnny. These guys are sorry, Jason. These guys have been very good, and I think this is a style that has worked for Sunrisers. I think they should keep at it. They should try to find 4 solid players. The likes of Kane probably stakes a claim already as a retention option. The one player who's just not contributed, unfortunately, in the top 4 in the past 4 years, unfortunately, has been Manish Pandey. So maybe it is time to move on from him and try to find someone else. Ideally, an Indian, because I think that if you choose too many foreign players in the top 4, then it becomes difficult because your bowlers then have to be Indian as well. So it's a tricky combination over there. But ideally, find another top quality Indian player, and then trust the likes of Abhishek Sharma, Abdul Samad to come in and finish these games off after you have like a solid start in the top 4, which is I don't disagree with this kind of a format. It's 20 overs. If you can have 4 players, one of the 4 players perform, I think you'll win more games than you lose.
I'm very surprised you said that, because I agree with that, but not a lot of people agree with that. And I feel that like they do have Indian players, they're just not performing. What can you do, right? Manish Pandey has played for India.
Absolutely.
Kedar Jadhav has played for India. They do have, when you say that Sunrisers don't have Indian talent, that's rubbish. They have a lot of Indian talent. They have the captain, under 19 captain Priyanka. They have Abhishek Sharma, under 19 winner. It's just that they haven't stepped up. Like, you can't do much in that situation. They actually have a very good squad. If I look at this squad compared to the Rajasthan squad, it's a better squad overall. Rajasthan right now are banking on the reserves, right? They don't have Ben Stokes, Butler, and thing. Still a solid. They have some solid replacements, but if you look at the overall squad, their bowling looks very weak. Whereas Sunrisers, they have Khalil, who's played for India. They have Sandeep Sharma. They have Bhuvneshwar Kumar. They have Siddharth Kohli. The problem is that these guys have maybe reached their peak or going past their peak. That might be the issue. But if you look at the overall squad on paper, it's a good squad.
Yeah, absolutely. When in 2016, when there was this big, or 2016 or 2017 was, I don't remember exactly, but when there was this big auction, when the Sunrisers went in and bought some very good players. Manish Pandey at that time was an A-list cricketer. He was playing for Indian cricket on a regular basis, So unfortunately, it didn't work out for him, and he's been one of the ones that has been poor. Bhuvi had 2-3 very very good seasons, and he's obviously slowed down a little bit in pace. You can criticize if you look at the nitty-gritties. If you nitpick, there are small things. They could have added a couple other bowlers and tried the few other things. Absolutely, but obviously, not available again. So there have been some injury issues. There have been players that have sort of slowed down in the past year. And in the past 5 years, you've been consistently making the playoffs. You have one championship. You have a couple runners-up trophies, and you've been good. Give them a season off, and then I'm sure they'll come back strongly next year again.
Yeah, no, 100%. And just to clarify, like that doesn't mean they should buy the same players again. I'm just saying that like the system, like you mentioned, a foreign heavy, but with young Indian youngsters there, young Indian talented youngsters.
They already have a good core, five or 6 good players. They need to add 3-4 more. That's it.
A 3-4, and like some informed players would help, but you can't really plan for that. You can be in form one day and then not the other day. And just coming to Rajasthan again, they have similar problems in terms of their middle order. They rely heavily on their top order, especially Sanju Samson. He's been in terrific form. Before I get to him, another issue is their bowling. They're not picking up wickets. The biggest problem I feel is their spinners not contributing. Over here, Rashid Khan was a bit expensive, but he picked up a wicket, right? You have in other teams, you have the spinners Ravi Bishnoi coming into the attack and picking up wickets. On these in these kind of conditions, you saw Chahal the other day. Rajasthan don't have that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Mumbai is also somewhat missing is Rahul Chahar has been a little bit off form, so Mumbai is struggling as well. So whenever whichever team has the spinners struggling, they are as a team struggling. But Mahipal Lomrao, with due respect to him, he's a newer guy coming in, but he's not an out and out spinner, and not like a Chinaman who can really turn the ball around. Tewatia, I think he's just a utility cricketer. He's a good second fiddle, but he's not your main spinner. So there is an issue over there. They have tried Gopal. They have stuck with him for a while, but he hasn't provided the goods for them. So I agree with this situation. There is a problem in the bowling attack. The fast bowlers are better. I don't know what happened with Tyagi today, but Jaydev was a little poor today. But I think overall this is a decent squad. I think very similar to Sunrisers. They have 5-6 very good players, and they are unfortunately depleted with the likes of Butler, Stokes, and these guys not being available. So that's been a problem. And I think the likes of Mumbai, Punjab, and Kolkata will be thanking Sunrisers today, because that's 2 points lost for Rajasthan now.
Yeah. Now, just talking about the captain Sanju Samson, I'm going to put the question in an interesting way. Why does it happen with Indian cricket that when Surya Kumar is on fire, Sanju Samson is in the Indian T20 squad, and then when Surya Kumar, when Sanju Samson is on fire, Surya Kumar is in the T20 squad? Is it bad luck? What is this? Because now, because we're very reactionary people, we're emotional people, especially us Indians and South Asians in general, we're emotional people. Reactive, we'll say that why Surya Kumar Samson should play, but we're forgetting that Surya Kumar put in the yards in the last couple of years.
And he has put in the yards in the last couple of years. And if you're being very honest here, Surya Kumar was picked before the restart of the IPL, and he was pretty good. I mean, the restart of the IPL, he's looked a little poor. And Sanju Samson got a fair amount of chances in Indian cricket. He cannot complain that.
Why does it happen like that? Now he suddenly shows his talent when he's not in the thing. Is it just that extra fire in your belly?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. I think that
Surya Kumar was killing it when he didn't get picked for Australia. He did that thing versus RCB last year, if you remember. And now we see that fire in Sanju Samson. Is it like you become a bit, I wouldn't say lazy, but a bit like, that, okay, you're in the Indian team, you can relax a bit. Is it a bit that? And then from the opposite side, you're more fiery?
I don't think it's about relaxing or anything. Players do go come in and out of form. That's part and parcel of cricket. But I think there is that
timing.
The timing of it is unfortunate. I agree with you. There's not much I can say over there. But I think it's just I don't think. In my opinion, in just specifically these two players, I think Sanju was given a fair amount of chances. I think he's given his fair share of chances, and every time he's not performed. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And with Surya Kumar, I think just a few bad games doesn't change that man. I think he still has the capability to turn it around and be very useful.
I do not want to be a selector. I do not, because you're going to get criticized either way. Now you will have people saying that, people who are crying for Surya Kumar, those people will keep quiet, and now Sanju Samson talks will start. 100%. It will start, especially if performances continue to go like this. And they'll just say that Mumbai, why are you picking Mumbai Indians players, this and that. And last year, when he wasn't picked to the tour of Australia, Surya Kumar, there's a lot of criticism there as well, that why did you go with Sanju Samson? He's so inconsistent. Yeah. So you'll never be satisfied as an Indian fan.
I think one thing I want to see about Sanju Samson is he usually starts off well. You've seen every time he starts off well, in the first 2-3 games, he has a couple of good scores, and then he just fiddles out.
So he does. But this season he's been better. He's had 103 450s. He's been much better this season. I think captaincy has helped him a bit as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a matter of looking in and kind of. I guess this time you're right. He has the orange cap also now, so he has scored more than 400 runs now, which is not something we've seen from Sanju before. So if he can do this again in a year or two, then there's always going to be a chance for him to get a look in again. I mean, there's no denying the fact that he has an extreme amount of talent. I think one of the most talented Indian cricketers that I have seen. the way he hits the shots, they're meant to be hit, and they're beautiful looking shots. But sometimes it's all about the timing of it all. So we just have to wait and see how it goes.
If I was him, I would just go and talk to Rohit Sharma because I felt Rohit Sharma had the same problem. And then he suddenly converted that 2019 string of hundreds in
Yeah,
that World
yeah.
Cup, and then now performing on the Test level as well. I think Sanju Samson has that level of skill as Rohit Sharma. It's just
I agree.
different. It's just different, but he has that level of skill. But same problem, like throwing away his wicket. So maybe
He can
just
keep
like
as well.
talk to him, and
Yeah.
he can keep as well. So I've always liked the guy. I think for me, he's one of my favorite young batsmen, along with Rishabh Pant. But
Not young anymore.
yeah, he's not young anymore, but he's getting to that stage where, like, he should cement his place, but he has to show that consistency. I agree with you. You can't, and with Surya Kumar, a couple of bad games, you can't just drop him like that. He has to, you have to give him a go. But they will get criticized if he has a bad World Cup. You're gonna get criticized.
Absolutely. And I think
Player of the
the thing is
match.
going to be for Surya Kumar is going to be a little more important for him to start changing it up quickly, because these chances don't come as often as they used to, I think, in the past. So if he doesn't convert, I think it's going to be a problem for him. So
Do you also feel that being a left-hander, Ishan Kishan got preference over someone like a Samson?
I agree. I think so, because this has been a talk about it for a while, right? Except for Pant, there's no other left-hander in the top 7 of the Indian cricket.
Yeah, so that probably helped them out.
They needed to, and I think that unfortunately, with the way things are going, I think Rohit and Virat will start. I think Ishan will come in at 3. He won't. Sky might not even start.
Oh.
I think Ishan might come in at 3. They'll play KL at 4, and then they'll have Pant Pandya and Jaddu at 5, 6, and 7. So that way, you have 3 left armers in the top 7, 3 left-hand batsmen in the top 7. So it's like a good mix, with Jaddu, Pant, and Kishan as your 3 left-hand. If it doesn't work out, then they might just bring in Sky. I think that's how they'll start at least.
Sounds good. And just to wrap things up, player of the match for you?
Oh, player of the match. I think it's Jason Roy, because he picked the way he picked away, that solid partnership with Saha and with in the power play, especially, really taking the attack to the Rajasthan Royals was very important. I think that's one thing that Sunrisers have been dependent on, and it was missing over the course of the season. To just see that happen was ideal. And whenever Bairstow was able to do it, he was getting out. I think Jason Roy was able to get that 50-60 runs and really completely put the game in the favor of Sunrisers before losing. When it's delicate, Bairstow, we saw a few times, Bairstow had this quick fire 20-30, really gets him off to a fly, but gets out, and then that's the problem, because that's not what you want.
Very good point. And then Williamson, of course, I think his innings also crucial, because you could have still lost that game if they lost a couple of wickets with that fragile middle order.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much wraps it up. Sunrise is gonna play, gonna spoil some parties. I think now
they started off today.
Yeah, they started off today. It's a big loss for Rajasthan, and it hurts the playoff chances. But I think now this side will become dangerous. Like we saw Chennai last year when they got kicked out, they started beating teams, and I think Sunrisers might do the same thing. That I don't know if they're still technically out of it, but I
think they are. No, they are. I think in the commentary they mentioned it, that it's probably not too late now for Sunrisers.
It's too late, yeah. So now you just have to kick on and try to spoil the party and up your value for the next auction.
Quick question before we call it. I think
please ask. I'm dying.
I think we're in that kind of a stage where every win becomes a big every win becomes a big win, every loss becomes a big loss for the likes of KKR, Punjab, Mumbai, and Rajasthan. So a big loss today for Rajasthan. It looks like Delhi and CSK have cemented their spot up there. But Bangalore, with the win yesterday, I think they have taken a big step towards it. Who do you think is going to be the fourth team?
Fourth team, I am gonna go with. I honestly feel that KKR have the best chance. Just because of their captaincy and some crazy individual talent, but don't count Punjab out. They're a weird team. They lose games, and they can win 5 on the bounce. Punjab is a kind of team that they can win 4-5 on the bounce and just go through it. But it's I don't know. I don't trust Punjab, because they're a bit they'll go crazy, and then even they'll dominate the whole game and then lose the game. So that's the only issue. I would back KKR, but Punjab close second. Mumbai Indians, I'm not giving them a chance. I told you also they're not going to make the top 4.
You did. You did.
And I think that will be great for Indian cricket because then Bumrah can chill,
Get some
relax.
break.
Someone Rohit Sharma who's also had injuries can chill, relax.
Yeah.
And
Pandya as
ideally,
well.
ideally, if Punjab and Sunrise also get out, it's good. Shami Bhuvneshwar can chill as well. So
And then Pandya and Kishan and Surya Kumar, pretty much half the Indian side.
I just want to ask you about Hardik Pandya. Is he becoming a problem? A lot of people are calling him overrated, this and that, but is he becoming a problem now?
He's starting to show signs of becoming a problem. I wouldn't say he's a problem yet. I think he's starting to show the points.
I've never seen suspense on like a player. Is he going to bowl? Is he going to bat? Is he going to field? Is he going to play? I've never seen this much suspense, man.
I mean, of course, it's absolutely clear that the Indian cricket team rates him very highly. I think he's shown enough, and we have seen enough evidence to state that he's a phenomenal cricketer. But you can only back on your history for so long, on your laurels for so long. You're gonna have to give us a performance that we can talk about again. So it is.
You need to play
it
so we can talk again. He's not bowling. When he plays, he bats only. He's not bowling. Sometimes he doesn't bat.
And his batting is a problem.
His batting has become a huge issue. So I don't know what it is. Like that's another problem that we'll talk about during the Mumbai game tomorrow. But it is a problem. And by the way, tomorrow's a double header, so
I think tomorrow's game is extremely important with KKR and Mumbai. I think that kind of situation.
Mumbai Punjab.
It's Mumbai Punjab. It's not KKR
Delhi. There's two matches.
Sorry. Isn't it KKR Mumbai? I thought it was KKR Mumbai.
No, KKR Delhi is the morning match and Mumbai Punjab. It's a double header on Tuesday.
Okay, so Mumbai Punjab becomes a very important game then because both are at 8 points. If Punjab can nick that one, I think Punjab becomes more higher favorites to make it to the playoffs, and it's going to be fun to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, and I will catch you after the games tomorrow, hopefully, if you're free. And thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy the win today. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Thank you.